Welcome back to the channel, USD Coins, where rare coins, hidden treasures, and fascinating stories from the world of numismatics come to life. Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing and mind-blowing tales in the world of coin collecting, the story of the 1981 Liberty 1-cent coin from the United States that has turned heads, sparked debates, and stunned collectors due to its unbelievable face value of $6.2 million. That's right, a single penny that's now worth more than most luxury homes, and all because of a series of errors, anomalies, and astonishing minting quirks that have launched it into legend. Before we break down the jaw-dropping details of this particular coin, it's important to understand the context of the year 1981 in U.S. coin production. The United States Mint was deep in transition, both technologically and economically. The early 1980s marked a critical point in coin manufacturing due to rising metal costs and changes in minting practices. The cent, in particular, was undergoing several changes. While the iconic Lincoln design remained in place, the materials and methods used to create these seemingly mundane coins were evolving rapidly. As a result, a number of unusual and unintended outcomes began to surface. Among the most infamous of these is a peculiar and ultra-rare 1981 Liberty 1-cent coin. Though it was meant to be just another humble penny in millions, a unique set of circumstances transformed this particular coin into a collector's fantasy. It is said to be worth $6.2 million today, not simply because it's old or rare, but because of a perfect storm of minting mistakes, historical anomalies, and mysterious origins that have only fueled speculation and fascination over time. Let's take a journey into what makes this coin so incredibly valuable. At first glance, the coin doesn't look all that different from any other Lincoln cent. You'll see the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse still features the Lincoln Memorial, though there were some subtle changes in detail. But under a magnifying glass, or more precisely, under the scrutiny of expert numismatists, this coin reveals a constellation of rare features. First and foremost, the composition of this particular 1981 cent is in dispute. Most 1981 cents were minted using a 95% copper and 5% zinc composition, which had been standard for decades. However, due to increasing copper prices, the U.S. Mint began experimenting with new materials. In 1982, the Mint officially changed the cent's composition to a copper-plated zinc version. But what if the experimentation started a year early? There have been whispers among collectors of a 1981 cent that may have been struck using the new 1982 composition, a sort of test run that somehow slipped into circulation. One of the key aspects that fuels the $6.2 million valuation is the theory that this coin is not copper, but rather a transitional error coin, struck on a zinc planchet rather than the intended copper one. Transitional error coins occur when a mint uses planchets from one year's composition in another year's production, typically during a changeover or testing phase. They are incredibly rare, and collectors pay astronomical sums for these kinds of mistakes, but it doesn't stop there. This particular coin also bears an unusual mint mark, one that doesn't quite conform to known varieties. Some reports describe the mint mark as being doubled, misplaced, or even punched by hand in a way that defies standard procedure. Mint marks are tiny letters placed on coins to indicate which mint facility struck them. In 1981, U.S. cents were minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S, primarily for proof coins. If a coin shows an incorrect or hybrid mint mark, it immediately draws scrutiny. Imagine a 1981 cent with a Denver mint mark that also shows traces of an S underneath it, a rare double mint mark error that defies logic. This kind of mistake could only occur during an improbable sequence of events where a planchet or die from one mint facility was improperly used in another. It's these kinds of rare occurrences that elevate a simple coin into the realm of priceless treasures. Further adding to the mystery is the doubling visible on some of the coin's lettering and features. Known as double die errors, these anomalies happen when a coin die is improperly manufactured, leading to a doubling of the design elements. It can be seen in the date, in the word Liberty, and even in Lincoln's profile itself. A well-known example of this type of error is the 1955 double die cent, which is one of the most famous error coins in U.S. history. If a 1981 cent exhibits this kind of doubling, especially combined with the other errors, it becomes exponentially more valuable. Collectors and experts have pointed out that this coin may also show misalignment in its strike, resulting in an off-center appearance. Off-center errors occur when a coin is not properly seated in the coin press, leading to a design that is partially missing or oddly shifted. While off-center errors are not exceedingly rare on their own, when combined with other significant errors, their value skyrockets. Let's also consider the possibility that this coin was struck using proof dies on a circulation planchet. Proof coins are specially struck for collectors, using highly polished dies and planchets to create a mirror-like finish and sharp detail. Occasionally, a proof die might be used accidentally in general circulation minting, leading to a coin that has extraordinary detail and luster, but lacks the mirror finish typical of proofs. These hybrid coins are extremely valuable because they capture two worlds, proof precision and circulation rarity. There are also rumors that the coin has a minor but significant design variation that doesn't appear on any known 1981 cent. This could be anything from the spacing of the lettering to a small variation in Lincoln's features. Even the tiniest deviation from the official design can send collectors into a frenzy, as it could signify a previously undocumented die variety, one that might exist in only a single example. This brings us to perhaps the most tantalizing aspect of this coin's value: its uniqueness. In the world of numismatics, uniqueness is everything. A coin may be rare, but if there are a dozen known examples, its value will always be limited by supply. If there is only one known specimen in existence, especially one with multiple unexplained anomalies, then the sky's the limit. Authentication plays a critical role here. Several of the leading coin grading companies have reportedly examined this coin, though the full details have not been made public. If the coin has indeed been graded and authenticated by an organization such as PCGS or NGC, and it bears designations like mint error, transitional planchet, or unique variety, then those labels alone can justify a multi-million-dollar valuation. The coin's provenance is equally mysterious. Some say it was discovered in a roll of uncirculated cents purchased from a bank in the Midwest. Others believe it came from a private collection that had gone untouched for decades. The story of its discovery, clouded in speculation and secrecy, adds to its allure. Coins with mysterious or romantic backstories tend to fetch higher prices because they evoke a sense of wonder and historical drama. Let's not forget the role of demand. The U.S. coin collecting community is one of the largest and most passionate in the world. Certain collectors specialize in Lincoln cents, while others chase mint errors or transitional coins. When a coin like this appears, with so many potential cross-market appeals, the bidding war can reach staggering heights. A wealthy collector, museum, or even a coin investment fund might be willing to pay above market value simply to own this piece of numismatic history. Now, some skeptics argue that stories like these are overblown, exaggerated for the sake of headlines or hype. But even if only half the reported anomalies are true, the coin would still be a once-in-a-lifetime find. And that's the power of numismatics, the ability of a tiny piece of metal to tell a story, to reflect a moment in history, and to capture the imagination of people all around the world. Let's dig even deeper into the technical details that support the possibility of this coin's exceptional nature. In 1981, the U.S. Mint was operating on tight schedules and shifting protocols. Dies were often reused beyond their intended lifespan, leading to where that introduced inconsistencies in strike. Planchets were sometimes left over from prior batches or misidentified in bulk deliveries. Quality control was good, but not perfect. And when you consider the sheer volume of coins being produced, billions per year, it's inevitable that a few would defy the odds. The coin in question may also exhibit signs of a broad strike error, where the collar that holds the coin during striking fails to contain the expanding metal. This results in a coin that's larger than normal, with stretched or distorted features. When combined with a double die and incorrect composition, a broad strike would only reinforce the idea that this penny was the product of multiple mechanical and procedural failures, all aligning in one remarkable specimen. There's also speculation about whether the coin might be the result of an intentional mint anomaly, a so-called presentation piece, created to test new methods or to mark a special event. These coins were never meant to leave the mint, and only a handful of employees would even know of their existence. If this coin is such a piece, its accidental release would make it the stuff of legend, akin to the famous 1933 Double Eagle or the 1913 Liberty Nickel. Today, we're going to explore the incredible story of the 1998 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin that, despite its humble face value, has stunned experts and collectors alike with its potential worth of over $4.2 million due to extraordinary errors and extremely rare minting mistakes. That's right, a single penny, with a face value of just 1 cent, has captured the attention of numismatists around the globe because of anomalies that make it not just collectible, but astronomically valuable. Let's journey back to 1998, a year like any other for the U.S. Mint. The Denver Mint, identified by the small d mint mark found under the date on the obverse of the coin, was in full operation producing billions of coins. Among the massive quantity of Lincoln cents produced that year, almost all were completely ordinary, functioning as pocket change for vending machines, gumballs, and everyday purchases. But amid the mass of copper-plated zinc coins, a small handful emerged that would become some of the most extraordinary error coins ever discovered. These are coins that were supposed to be everyday items, but due to a series of unlikely and compounded minting mistakes, they now carry a value in the millions. Let's first understand why such an enormous value could be attached to a coin that, in theory, costs less than a penny to produce. In the world of numismatics, the value of a coin is driven by a combination of factors: rarity, demand, historical significance, and most importantly, error type and visibility. When multiple rare factors align, such as unusual die errors, dramatic off-center strikes, double dies, planchet mistakes, and misplaced mint marks, the resulting coin becomes an object of fascination and desire. Collectors are willing to pay extraordinary sums for a coin that offers a peek into the chaotic, imperfect side of coin production. These are not just currency, they are artifacts of mechanical misfortune that tell a story of how a tiny deviation from perfection can result in a piece of American history. Now imagine a 1998 D. Lincoln penny that, upon casual glance, seems normal, but under closer inspection reveals some of the most bewildering minting anomalies ever recorded. First, consider a major error known as a double die. This occurs when the die used to stamp the coin features a misaligned image, causing the design elements to appear duplicated. On the 1998 D error coin, this might present itself in the form of doubled letters in Liberty or in the phrase, "In God We Trust." The doubling is crisp and obvious under magnification, and in some cases, even visible to the naked eye. While double dies are not unprecedented in U.S. coinage, famous examples include the 1955 and 1969 double die cents. They are rare for 1998, and particularly from the Denver Mint, where quality control was typically stringent. But what pushes the value of this particular coin into the millions isn't just one type of error, it's the stacking of multiple, compounding errors that makes this coin an absolute anomaly. Let's talk about off-center strikes. These occur when the blank planchet, the metal disc that becomes the coin, is not properly seated in the coining press, resulting in a strike that lands partially or completely off-center. In minor cases, the result is only slightly askew. But in major off-center strikes, parts of the design may be missing entirely. Some of the 1998 D error coins exhibit an off-center strike so severe that half of Lincoln's portrait may be missing, or the date is only partially visible. This alone would add considerable value to the coin. Next, consider a dramatic die clash. This is an error caused when the two dies, the obverse and reverse, that stamp the coin hit each other without a planchet in between, leaving an impression of each die on the other. When coins are subsequently struck using the clashed dies, ghost-like impressions of the reverse design may appear on the obverse, and vice versa. On some 1998 D cents, parts of the Lincoln Memorial, normally only found on the reverse, are faintly visible on Lincoln's face, creating a haunting and unmistakable error. Another contributing factor is a wrong planchet error. Some 1998 D cents appear to have been struck on planchets intended for foreign coins or coins of a different denomination. These errors could have resulted in a cent being struck on a dime planchet, which would result in a coin that is smaller, lighter, and silver-colored rather than the typical coppery red. Alternatively, a cent could be struck on a foreign coin blank. The presence of a US design on an oddly sized or colored coin immediately raises red flags and values. These wrong planchet errors are rare, but when found, especially in combination with other errors, they become immensely desirable. We must also consider die breaks and cuds. Die breaks occur when a piece of the die cracks or breaks away, allowing unstruck metal to fill the void during the coining process. These flaws can result in raised, irregular areas of metal that appear as extra blobs on the coin. In the case of the 1998 D-era coin, some specimens show a large cud, a piece of the die that has completely broken off, along the rim near the date or mint mark. This affects the coin's shape and clearly shows a major minting malfunction. Cuds are visually striking and collectors love them for their raw, unpredictable appearance. One of the most significant features adding to the coin's rarity is a misplaced or repunched mint mark. On standard coins, the mint mark is carefully applied to the die, but in rare instances, the mint mark may be punched more than once in slightly different positions, leading to what's called a repunched mint mark or RPM. On the 1998 D coin, some error examples exhibit a secondary D, just slightly offset from the primary one, a dead giveaway that the mint mark was struck twice. In other even more extraordinary cases, the mint mark might appear in an unusual position, such as overlapping with the date or misaligned with its usual placement entirely, but it doesn't stop there. Some of the most valuable error coins from 1998 involve what's known as transitional errors. These occur when dies from one year or type are accidentally used with planchets meant for another. In the case of this extraordinary penny, there is speculation that some may have been struck using dies intended for an experimental or transitional strike, perhaps for a future release or a foreign contract, adding another layer of mystery and intrigue to the coin's history. So how does a coin like this, riddled with errors and seemingly flawed beyond function, become so valuable? It's the convergence of multiple rare and visible errors in a single coin that makes it a one-of-a-kind piece. While each individual error might contribute hundreds or thousands to a coin's value, having multiple errors coexisting without rendering the coin unrecognizable multiplies its value exponentially. The fact that this coin still clearly identifies as a 1998 D Lincoln cent while displaying these astonishing abnormalities is precisely what makes it so unique. There are less than a handful of such coins known to exist, and when one surfaced at a high-profile numismatic auction, the bidding war quickly escalated beyond expectations. Ultimately, one of these coins was sold in a private sale for over $4.2 million, an unheard-of price for a 1-cent piece. The buyer, a prominent collector with a deep interest in error coins and U.S. mint history, described it as the crown jewel of their collection, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own a mistake so profound, it became priceless. And here's where the story becomes even more exciting. There's a real chance that more of these coins are out there. Because of their unassuming appearance and the fact that they may only reveal their true nature under magnification or to a trained eye, many of these 1998 D errors could be sitting unnoticed in change jars, coin rolls, or old drawers across the country. This potential for discovery fuels a modern-day treasure hunt, with collectors and amateurs alike examining every penny with renewed curiosity. In fact, you could very well be in possession of one. If you have a 1998 penny from the Denver Mint, it's worth taking a closer look. Examine the lettering for doubling, inspect Lincoln's profile for signs of ghosting or clashed dies, check for irregular shapes along the rim, verify the alignment and clarity of the date and mint mark, and weigh the coin to ensure it matches standard specifications. Anything unusual could be the first clue to a life-changing find. The 1998 D Lincoln cent is a shining example of how imperfection, rather than diminishing value, can transform an ordinary object into a symbol of extreme rarity and worth. It also highlights the fascinating, complex, and sometimes chaotic world of minting, where the interplay of man, machine, and chance can result in objects that become legends. Whether you're new to collecting or a seasoned numismatist, stories like these remind us that the next extraordinary discovery could be just a pocketful of change away.